and I was the Beatles.
Other way.
And my own guru was Swami Brahmananda Saraswati. That was a long time ago. And unfortunately, after he taught me Transcendental meditation, he passed away. And in 1955, I started my own movement and traveled the world teaching Transcendental meditation. My most famous pupils were the Beatles, of course. And in 1967, I met them at the London Hilton. Yes, they were so impressed. What lovely boys they were. Well, three of them anyway. Ringo couldn't make it. He was having a baby at the time with his wife. And yes, it was just a wonderful time. After my lecture, they stayed for an hour and a half and just, you know, we just talked. And I invited them to the retreat that I was having in Wales, in Bangalore, Wales. And they were so excited about it. It was a 10-day retreat. Anyway, so in Wales, when they came, Ringo even came, and they really wanted a mantra, especially George. He was so keen on having a mantra. So I taught them. In 2 days, they picked it up really quick. Oh, there were so many people there. There was Mick Jagger, there was Cilla Black, Marianne Faithfull. They all came. Anyway, it was such a great time. And the sadness of it, though, is the Beatles lost their manager. He died, Brian Epstein. He died in a hotel room while they were at the retreat, so they had to finish it early. It was so sad. Anyway, I gave them comfort. They got a lot of comfort, what I could tell them. I told them their kind thoughts would send him on to his next life in a natural and good way. And they took a lot of comfort in that. And we stayed in touch. And then in 1968, they agreed to come to Rishikesh, to my retreat there in the Himalayas. Oh, it was so exciting. They'd been doing drugs before that, but they realized they wanted a natural cosmic mind expansion. So they came over to Rishikesh and they had a 6-hour drive going up to, from New Delhi, up to the Himalayas where my ashram was. First there was John and George, and then Ringo and Paul followed. Well, Ringo, what a nightmare. He was so worried about his allergies that he had to pack a suitcase full of beans and eggs because he couldn't eat any of the food there. The others seemed to manage the food okay, but Ringo's wife also, she was just afraid of everything. She was afraid of a spider, afraid of a fly. So they didn't particularly enjoy it, but they did stay 10 days and they meditated. And they all meditated. But after 10 days, they just had to go. Ringo had been sick and he just couldn't eat the food. But what a wonderful time it was for everyone. There were so many musicians there. There was Donovan, there was Mike Love from the Beach Boys. Oh, it was awesome. And they all jammed. After meditating during the day, they just jammed with their music at night on the roof of one of the bungalows. The bungalows were very simple, but I did go to some extent to furnish the Beatles bungalows with carpets, spongy mattresses and mirrors, and also Western furniture. So they had those comforts. But the rest of the place was pretty sparse. You had to eat outside under the trees. And, the meals were taken communally. Oh, it was so beautiful there. The Ganges flowing in front and the Himalayas behind. It was just so lovely. Everyone had a great time. Mia Farrow was there. Mia Farrow is such a pretty little thing. I couldn't help touching her hair at times, but it got misrepresented. I mean, in India we show each other affection through touch, but I don't know, these media people, they blow everything out of proportion. And I soon got a bad name for molesting the girls. It just wasn't true. But actually, by that time, Paul had already left and Ringo had gone. But George and John, they needed an excuse to leave. So we had an argument. Well, not really an argument. They came to me, they decided to go. They decided that the stories of improper behavior had some merit. And they came and told me they were leaving. I said, why? Why are you leaving? Just please tell me. And they said, oh, you're cosmic, you should know. So anyway, they left and I felt bad. But, you know, since then we've patched it up. And Paul said himself, he never believed for a moment that I touched those girls. It was a rumor started through jealousy. Anyway, they all benefited from meditation, and they meditated regularly at the time, and they all created, like between them, 40 songs they wrote in the time they were at Rishikesh, and that was through meditation. That was through what they learned from TM. They relaxed and they expanded their mind naturally. So in later years, they apologized for how they treated me. And finally, when I passed away at age 91, in about 2007, a year earlier, Paul McCartney and his daughter Stella came to visit me. And they patched things up and renewed the friendship. So it was such a wonderful time. Even when I passed on, they blasted the song that the Beatles had written into the universe called All of the Universe. And, you know, they've since said some lovely things about me. So I had a great life, giving to the unity of humankind. But let me tell you about Transcendental meditation. Why did it expand their consciousness? The way it works is there's a floor, a bubble like the depths of the lake. The bubble rises up onto the conscious mind. And the thought is the same. It sits in the subconscious and then it rises up to the conscious mind. All the time. And when it bursts open, you realize it is a thought. But with transcendental meditation, with saying a mantra, you go back into the depths of your subconscious mind and you unify the conscious and the subconscious so that you can have cosmic consciousness and expanded consciousness. And that's how the Beatles created so many wonderful songs. Anyway, there was another argument they had. They didn't like the way I wanted 25% of their next album. Well, I was probably misadvised by my accountant. I mean, he probably wasn't such a good idea, but at the time it seemed fair, because at the time they created a lot of songs from being at the ashram. So it felt right to me that they should give a percentage of their earnings out of the album. Anyway, that didn't go down well, and that was another reason why we fell out. So I'm going to tell you a story now.